What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I'm Missing, and this is Soul Finder 95, and we're doing more Am I the Asshole, but with some background this time. But, did you say hi or everything? You know?
Hello, I'm Soulfinder95, and thanks for coming to listen to us rant.
But, let's see, oh god, I have so many pages up right now. Am I the asshole for guilting my son about spending his money on a destination wedding instead of helping with his brother's surgery? I have two sons, Carl, 28, and Ed, 22. Ed is disabled and has multiple issues that we've been managing since he was 3. He and Carl weren't close growing up for some reason. Now Carl is working a high-paying job. I asked if he could help pay for his brother's surgery, but he refused. I told him that was cruel of him since he has the means to help but refused. This person is like at a 3rd grade writing level. This is really hard to read. Like, I'm gonna pull this over to the screen because this is rough to try to read through here. My wife and I, since he has the means, but to help, but refused. But he reminded me of how much he sacrificed when he was younger for Ed's sake. Carl got married recently and had a destination wedding which cost him lots of money. My wife and I attended and gave our blessing, but I briefly mentioned to him how he could have helped out with his brother's surgery instead of having a big wedding like that, and he looked at me confused. He then got mad and accused me of guilting him for not helping with the surgery. I said I wasn't guilting him. I'm just making an observation. An argument ensued, and my wife blew up at me, saying I never should have even mentioned the money and ruined our son's joy like that. Again, I said I was just making a simple yet truthful observation, but she said this was neither time nor place, and that Carl felt like it was a guilt trip. She's pressuring me to call him and apologize, but he's not calling me back. Edit, Carl never had to give us any money. Matter of fact, we made sure he got higher education, although we were dealing with rough circumstances.
Wow.
Wow. I feel like we do a really good job of having like 2 separate takes on this. So, like on things in general. So I'm interested if we do have the same viewpoint on this one. I feel like this might be one that we have altering viewpoints on.
Yeah.
Maybe. You know, I don't know. What, like, okay, so here's, I'll give my thing. It's kind of interesting to me that not one time in that entire post did she mention the fact that there was a wife involved in that wedding. And that it wasn't just him refusing to pay for his brother's surgery, but also, like, maybe he was trying to give his wife the wedding that she wanted too? Like, the fact that she never one time mentioned his wife kind of says a lot to me.
I mean, I feel like also a lot of the time that like families who have like more disabled children and then like more capable children, the it the disabled one always winds up overshadowing the one. So I mean, I get it to where that dude's kind of like, I've sacrificed a lot, like, and you continuously want me to sacrifice more.
Well, I mean,
and I think it's kind of inappropriate for them to be like, this could have gone to your brother.
You should have given your earnings to your brother and not had your fantasy wedding, or taken care of your wife and had her fantasy wedding. You should have given your money to your brother. Which, like, did it say if it was like an emergency, like, kind of like life or death situation? Because I forgot by now. Big brain is real smooth.
when I read over it, it didn't seem like it was life threatening. And I feel like if it was, he would have been like, it was like a very crucial surgery that could have helped him like become more independent. It didn't say anything about that.
Yeah. So like that's my thing on it. Um yeah, so I guess we are on the same page after all. Is like, yeah, no, I mean there's no reason I feel like he should have had to have given that money to his brother. It just doesn't make any sense to me. There's no logical reason besides, I felt like you could have used that money to help your brother instead of having. That's so stupid. That's such a stupid take, man.
Like, do you remember how old the disabled brother was? I can't remember.
22. One of them was 22.
Okay, so they knew that like he was disabled. So you think that they would have saved money back for like if there's going to be a surgery though as well. Like I feel like that's something you kind of need to plan for.
Yeah, I mean, like they specified that they spent a lot of their money on giving him his education, which is part of your responsibility as a parent.
Yeah. You would think.
Yeah. Again, I think the biggest thing for me is that I think that everything that needs to be said in this is said by the fact that she never one time even mentioned his wife.
Yeah, and yeah, he's also being very selfish about like you put your wife and your future first also.
Like, to me, it really like that's the thing that speaks volumes. It's like, if you aren't even respectful enough of the situation to bring up why his wife should have to make the sacrifice too, that's a bigger issue. That's, yeah, you're the asshole. I'm gonna read the top comment here. You're the asshole. They weren't close growing up for some reason. How about the fact that all your time and energy went to Ed? Well, Carl was shunted off to the side because he was the healthy kid. I've seen this a million times in here, including in my own family. You don't get what it's like to be the one that the parents don't pay attention to because they're not sick or disabled. Carl is in no way obligated to give you money for anything. You have no idea why he's resentful and seem to think that just because he's family, you should fork over money. It is your responsibility, not your other son's. Total asshole move to bring it up at his wedding. No less, not surprised he's going NC with you over this?
Here's another one that says, that's a huge fear of mine. I have two only kids. My son is 26 and my daughter is 13. My son has autism, and while functional, he needs someone to monitor his meds, showering, laundry, etc. And just like overall his life. Thankfully, they are very close to each other, but my retirement plan is to have a backup if she doesn't want him. It's a big responsibility, and hopefully I am around for many years to come. So, I mean, even the mom and like that mom is like, well, it's not my daughter's burden. Like, if she would like to, sure. But if she doesn't, then that's,
Yeah, it's...
I really think it's unfair for a parent to expect the other the other children to step up and do that. Sure, they're related, but that's not that shouldn't be obligation,
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm sure that the argument there that, like, they paid for his college, so they're wanting him to, like, pay it back and everything, but to say that you should have given your money from your wedding to your brother, that's...
Yeah.
It's not like he hasn't earned that money. It's not like he didn't go to the school and earn the education he got. It's not like just because you paid for it doesn't mean that he hasn't put in the effort to get it.
Right.
No, you're totally... There's no... In my mind, there's no debate on them being the asshole. No debate.
Yeah, 100% the asshole.
100%. On to the next.
Yep.
All right, let's hear them reading skills. We this is our first time getting your reading skills.
They're not great.
I mean, Me trying to read that last one wasn't great, so
It sounded like a stroke, yeah.
yeah, no, I was
I'm
seasoned.
not very good.
I was seasoned.
That's okay. Okay, am I the asshole for leaving a pregnant woman
And the
outside?
hat.
Public speaking isn't my strong suit. Um, okay, so I, 19 female, am autistic, and my sister, 30 female, asked me if I could come over to her house to babysit while she and her husband went out for a much needed date night. I had some reservation about this, and I never supervised a kid alone. She usually brought them to my parents' house, and my parents mainly watched them while I did my thing, but also kept an eye on them and kept them entertained. However, my sister assured me that all will be well, and she will write me a list of instructions to follow, and it will be easy. I asked if I could have a friend over with me, but she said no, and under no circumstances am I allowed to have strangers in her house. Anyways, 3 hours in, and a pregnant lady comes knocking, and she is distressed like she wasn't feeling well. She told me that she's the next door neighbor and that she forgot her keys at home and has no place to stay until her husband comes back. She also told me that she is dizzy and not feeling well. I felt very conflicted. On one hand, I didn't know this woman and wasn't sure if she was telling the truth about being my sister's neighbor, so I didn't think letting her in was an option. I called my sister many times to ask permission to let this woman in, but she didn't pick up. On the other hand, I didn't feel comfortable leaving her in that state outside in the cold. I tried calling my parents too, and they didn't pick up. I was basically left to decide on my own. I brought out a chair to the porch and told her she can sit there and wait for her husband if she'd like. I also offered her some water and food, but she politely declined and decided to wait outside her house. She proceeded to wait 2 hours until her husband came back, and I saw her crying at some point. I felt so bad, but I felt like my hands were tied, and I tried calling my sister and my parents many, many times, but no one picked up. When my sister came home later that night, I told her what happened, and she lashed out at me, calling me an idiot and saying she told me not to allow strangers in. She didn't think that she needed to tell me her 7-month-old pregnant lady in distress was an exemption to that rule. My parents also later reprimanded me on taking everything so literally and being an idiot. Am I the asshole? Update. Since everyone is asking why she didn't go to another neighbor, while I'm not sure exactly why, I'm going to explain the layout of the house in my sister's neighborhood a bit. So basically, there are 3 houses that are close to each other. My sister's, the pregnant woman's, and another house. There are more houses down the road, but they are kind of far behind, within walking distance, but she wouldn't be able to see her husband pull up from there, and I think that's why. She doesn't really know. I don't know, but it is possible that she went to the other house near us and got turned down there before she came to me, and she didn't ask the pregnant lady. The end. That was a book. I will say that I feel like I don't know, really. I mean, from experience. If you say there's no strangers, then there's no strangers. But, like, also, how do you know that she's telling the truth? Also, with all the events that have happened and how people are like, don't answer the door if some lady's there, because, like, there are, like, sex trafficking, like, scams and stuff like that. Like, I think around at least where I resided there for a while, there were reports about a lady knocking on the door and then men coming and snatching whoever opened the door. Like, so
Well, that's yeah. I mean, that's what I
it's
was gonna
scary,
say.
and she doesn't know the line. Like, she takes things literally, probably also because of her, like, being a little autistic. That probably doesn't help, you know?
Yeah, like that's the thing for me too. Is like if I was a female, um, you don't know who's around the corner of that door. You don't know this woman. You don't know if she's trying to profile the house. You don't know if she's trying to find out if you are home alone, and then she's gonna text the guy that's behind the house waiting.
Yeah,
You don't know. You have no idea.
exactly. And also, if you know your autistic sister is watching your child, why wouldn't you like keep your phone on you so you could answer it if something happened? I mean, even okay, let's take away the autistic part. Even if you know, like you have like a babysitter, why wouldn't you keep your phone on you in case something happened?
I mean, like, why don't you just have your phone on you? Period. Like, it's like it's 20, like in this day and age, like when do you not have your phone available? Like I mean, I guess I don't, but that's because I'm antisocial as hell. But I mean, like, I don't know anybody else in my life who I couldn't like call and they don't have their phone with them almost 24/7, right? I don't know. I mean, like,
I
maybe if she
mean,
was at work.
I could not tell you.
Yeah. So I mean, I no, you don't know who that woman is. You don't know what she's doing. You don't know what she's profiling or not. You don't have any idea. I say not the asshole. I mean, I see why there's controversy here, but I think that the parents and the daughter are using the bias that they knew she was safe afterwards and not looking at this from the perspective of like not knowing this woman. You know? Like they are failing to actually observe it from the perspective of I don't know this woman. They're looking at it from the perspective of having known that the girl was safe the whole time.
Also, like it's an off like thing that happened, you know? It's like
It's weird.
yeah, it's hey, there's a pregnant lady, so if she needs help, help her.
But nobody else, but I didn't specify the pregnant lady thing, so you're going to have to figure that out on your own, my dearest autistic sister. So, Godspeed. Um, and like, not to
Yeah.
like say autistic people aren't capable, but like she specified that, so I'm saying that I'm assuming that she felt like for some reason that hindered her ability here. No, this is just
Okay.
bad. This is the family being bad. I don't know what else. In my
Yeah.
perspective, yeah.
Hmm.
No, like if I told Dahlia, hey, don't let anybody in the house. I don't care who it is. There is no, like, just don't let anybody in the house. And then I came home. I don't care if it would be the neighbor that's pregnant that I know very well, and we like go out to movies once a week. I would still be pissed off that she didn't listen. Like, I wouldn't reprimand her because I feel like she was making the best choice in her situation. But like, we would still have a discussion about like safety and the same things I was going over with you. Like, you don't know what's happening on the other side of that door.
Hmm.
For those who don't know, I have a 3-year-old named Dahlia, and one day she will be old as this girl, and that's what I'm saying. I also have a kids gaming channel that I play video games with her now.
Oh, that's adorable.
It is. It is. We played Paw Patrol game for our first video. It was cute.
That's adorable.
We had lots of fun. But yeah, no, I don't think the OP is the asshole. I think that her family is looking at it with bias.
Hmm.
All right.
Like, yeah.
Did you have
No, no, you're fine.
on to the next then?
Sure.
Onwards and upwards. We totally spaced. Did we read the top comment on that one?
No, I mean, I just
All right, top comment. Go.
not the ass. This is the top comment, and they said not the asshole. And I'll tell your sister that if she's not going to answer her phone when you are responsible for her kids, you will not be watching them again. Which is kind of like what I said was, I mean, you're not answering the phone. Your family lashed out at you. Just don't do it again.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Like it just. Yeah. Sounds like exactly what we said. Yeah. So cool. All right. So this one's one that hits home for me. So the title is "Am I the asshole for not attending my sister-in-law's child-free wedding?" The thing is, she, 24 female, and her husband, 20 SM? Single male?
Maybe.
I'm assuming she just means male. Hate kids. And when I, 27 female, say they hate kids, I really mean it. At family parties, they're always complaining about babies crying. They say they're disgusting, that they ruin your life, and stuff like that. So of course their wedding had to be child-free. And I understand their decision, but I still decided not to attend because I have very young children. 7, 5, 4, 2, 2, 1, and a 2-month-old? Wow, that is some breeding power right there. Boy, oh. Whoa.
Okay.
Cheese and crackers, my friend. That is, you have two of them the same fucking age, the same year, like, wow. You don't fucking stop. Damn, you didn't even take a fucking couple months off from the popping out those two.
Okay, so a lot of I don't even know how you'd like deal with all those kids, but okay, go on.
With prayer and the power of Jesus on your side, I assume.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I don't, listen, and I don't want to leave them alone at home with a babysitter. And I say that because we recently moved and we don't have any relatives or friends around to babysit them for one night. And I don't have recommendations for good babysitters yet, so I decided to stay with them while my husband attended alone. My husband, 39 male, attended the ceremony. Wow, that's a big age difference too.
Between
I mean, like 10 years.
her and the husband.
More than 10 years. I mean, like, it's not weird. It's just like big. Attended the ceremony, but not the party because he wanted to come home with us, and now she's mad because she thinks what I did was rude. And that the kids were not going to die if they stayed with a nanny for one night. And of course, they weren't going to die, but they were going to be sad. The older ones still haven't gotten used to the new city and the people here, so I know they weren't going to enjoy spending the night with a stranger. Long story short, my husband talked to her and told her that it was also his decision that she should blame him too. But she insisted that it was all my idea and I'm the rude one, and said she expects an apology. But I'm not going to apologize. So am I the asshole? So let's just start with this situation. How do you feel? Since we all know, first of all, that I do not think you're the asshole. There's no doubt about that for me. What is your view on this one? Let's start there. For this individual.
Understand like child-free weddings. I don't think that I think there's a lot more context than there was like initially. Um I don't think that it was right for her to um I don't think it's right for them to like always go out to family functions and say shit about kids. Like if you're going to a family function, you know there's going to be kids. So why even say like why say something? Just don't go. Also, I don't think she should apologize because listen, if you're gonna make rules like that for a wedding, you also have to be prepared for people to not want to go because of your rules. If you want more people to go, you need to cut your rules down. That's just that.
Uh-huh.
If that makes yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I feel what you're saying. Is that your whole take on it there?
I don't blame them for wanting a child-free wedding. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's their day. They can have their decision. I mean, that's just.
All right. So here is my thing. I agree with everything you said. Completely. My thing is that it's never that fucking simple with people who want child-free weddings. It's never just, oh, I'm going to have a child-free wedding, and if people don't come, I'm not going to be butthurt about it. It's I'm going to have a child-free wedding, and then I'm going to whine and cry and mope just like this example. I have seen this in real life a million times because they still expect their family to throw their children away for them because to them the children don't matter. Anytime I hear somebody say, I want a child-free wedding, all that tells me immediately is just like, I don't care about kids at all, and your kids are irrelevant to me, and I expect you to put your life on hold and off your kids and praise me for this day, which is fine. It's your wedding day. That's fantastic. But if I can't show up because of my kid, fuck you. Like, I'm sorry, but you have a life. I have a life. And I have heard so many people just like, yeah, they're pissed off because I didn't come to their wedding. It was a child-free wedding, and I didn't have a kid sitter. Like, I didn't have somebody watch my kid. And it's insane. It is absolutely insane. And also, weddings are family events. I think that we can kind of both agree that, like, you said that, like, kids are going to be at family events, right?
Yes, but
It is their event.
Events. Like, a wedding is solely about the, like, couple, really.
Okay. So let's say that you're getting married and you have nephews and nieces, right? You just don't want them there? You don't care about your nephews and nieces?
They're going to remember the wedding, because if they're not, then no.
Are you going to remember your wedding?
Not fair.
Are you going to remember that you didn't want your nephew there when he's 20 and he's telling you about how great you are and he's going to spend time with you? Are you not going to, like, when he's asking about his wedding, your wedding, are you going to be able to look at him and be like, yeah, I didn't want you there? Like, how... That's the thing. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're thinking about themselves today, which is fine. It's their day. But also, they're shaming and, like, getting rid of their family because they want to have a day without a kid. Like, I get it. You don't want to hear screaming in, like, the background when you're getting married. But then just set rules for people with kids. Like, listen, if your kid's getting rowdy, you're gonna have to, like, take them outside or something. Like, set those boundaries.
I feel like that rule shouldn't be set, though. Like, if you know your kid's gonna get rowdy, how rude would it for you to be, like, with a kid and you're just gonna sit there through the ceremony with your kid screaming? Like, you think they would already take that kind of initiative to remove their kid.
But that's the reason people say they want child-free weddings, is because people with screaming kids, oh, I can't stand a kid screaming. And that's their reasoning. And that's why they want to have child-free weddings. And I get that. But, like, why not just set boundaries and rules about people with kids?
Yeah.
But instead, what you're saying is, I don't give a shit about any of my family members unless they're old enough to respect me and praise me on my special day. It's just such a fucking selfish take.
Yes, but one could argue that that's the point of a wedding, and, like, you know, birthdays is like you are kind of being like, unless, you know, anyway, focus on one thing at a time. That is kind of like your, you know, you grow up, at least on a female side, like, you grow up always hearing, oh, that's going to be your day, like, it's what you want. Of course, with your partner, you know, what your partner wants too. So, like, I feel like, you know, you are kind of allowed to, like, be selfish on that day a little bit.
I 100% agree that you're allowed to be selfish on that day, but the way I've always heard every female present it is that your family is there, not the family that's old enough to praise me.
Pretty sure if you're like, oh my God, look at you, you're 3 years old and you're right here, they'd be like, oh, cool. Like, I don't think they're going to be hurt that they didn't attend a wedding when they were 3 years old. I mean, in my perspective, like, if somebody were to be like, look at this, even at a birthday party of a family member, I'd be like, oh, okay. You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just, like, my life, you know.
I have actively heard my nephews, as adults now, say things about how they resent family members today for not wanting them around when they were young.
It's different, though. Okay, that's one day. Like, oh, I don't want your kid around ever because they scream and cry is different from I just don't want them.
But that's what
Like,
all
I
these fucking
don't want
people that want these
that
child-free
day.
weddings are like. They're always wanting babies not around, and then they're on their special day. Like, yeah, they're just not allowed because it is my day. What you're saying is I'm that person constantly, but instead of me not showing it the rest of the year, I'm just proving it today. Now, I do want to be clear also, though, like, there's certain factions of people that I respect that wish for. Like, groups of people that can never have kids and are never going to have kids in their marriage. I think they have every right to say that they don't have kids in their marriage at their wedding.
Why? I mean, it's the same thing. Like,
No, because when you are like a couple that is getting married with the intention of starting a family, and you're saying I don't want kids there on my special day, that is way shittier to me than like somebody who's saying like we're never gonna have kids, we can't have kids physically. Then like that's a whole different thing. And I get like this couple saying like they don't plan on ever having kids, which is like fucking fine, but like it still comes off snooty to me, I guess, in this situation.
so if a family member was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna have kids. I, would rather have a kid-free wedding," you'd be like, "Oh, okay." But you're also snooty.
Well, I mean, this situation is snooty, what I'm saying.
Ah.
It is because they were shaming the person.
I also think that like them being sour towards kids, like in general at other family functions, is shitty.
Yeah, but that's my whole point on this. Is like, it's always those fucking people that say they want a child-free wedding. It's always those fucking people that are like low key, like I just hate kids. Or in this situation, high key. It's never the person that's like, I absolutely love kids. I know somebody in my personal life too who's had a child-free wedding, and because of their wife, and then they shit on their best man because he couldn't make it because he had kids. And he told them months in advance. He was like, I'm not gonna be able to be there because like I'm gonna be, I literally am not going to be able to be there. It's not going to happen. I'm not gonna be able to afford a babysitter and everything to come to your wedding. Like it's not going to happen. And then they like quit talking to them because of it. And then like he was a teacher. The guy she was marrying, he did not want a child-free wedding. Like his whole family got pissed off at him about it because they all had kids. None of his family came, but she refused to let kids come to the wedding. And then after they got married, she made him quit his teaching job because she couldn't stand the kids. This is like it's so fucking insane. The moment somebody says I want a child-free wedding to me, I'm just like, okay, you just don't like fucking kids, period. Like it's just the way I feel about it. Like it really is. It's just
And focusing just on this situation, I feel like it's all circumstantial. Because, like, I feel like somebody cannot hate kids and be like, oh, I love my nieces and nephews. Like, they're great. I just don't want kids myself in my future, and then not want.
Let me ask you
kids.
this. Are you saying at the wedding, or are you saying at the after party?
The ceremony. If they want to go to the after party and they want to sit there and be like, dancing and eating cake and shit, go ahead.
I am the exact opposite on this. I can see somebody saying I don't want them at the after party, but I cannot see somebody saying I don't want them at the ceremony.
Okay, but there's like, I feel like, I don't know. I imagine like an after party. So like you have your ceremony where you'll do like, the whole like fucking mile long, I, vow to you my life and blah, 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 whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the reception, right? Where you're like, oh, okay, here's where we get to like laugh and have fun with family and blah, blah, blah. And then I feel like there is sometimes like an after party for like the like wedding party. Does that make sense? Like the people who were in the wedding.
Yeah,
like
the
they'll have like
stuff.
the after when the family leaves. That one, the after party, I feel like kids shouldn't be at, but the reception where everyone's eating cake and having fun and blah blah blah, sure. I mean, in my preference, I wouldn't care.
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, so I can get people saying that they don't want kids even at the after party. Like, that is fine. I get that. But the ceremony, it's like, that's saying I actively do not want members of my family that I should think about as important members of my family to not be there. And that's coming from somebody who does not value family very much. I'm saying, like, my best man, if he's got kids, I expect him just to blow his kids off and not have his kids there. His kids should be just as important to me as he is, because they're part of his life. And I know I have a kid, and maybe I have that opinion because I have a kid, but I've had this opinion since before I've had a kid. I've been screaming about this shit, and you can go back to the recordings of my stream and watch me scream about this 4 years ago before Dahlia was ever born. It is just an insane take for me.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why I'm so passionate about it, but it really is something that I'm so heated about, and it makes me so irate that, because it's always this story. It is never like, yeah, we had a kid-free wedding and everything was fine. It's always like, yeah, we had a kid-free wedding, but now I don't talk to my cousin because she was up about it. And it's like, oh. Okay. So
I think she's an asshole for not attending. If she didn't want to go, don't go. But like, they shouldn't have been pissy because they set the rules.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I feel like if you set a dress code and they're like, absolutely not doing that, I don't want to wear like, a freaking Victorian, I don't know, fucking tie. Like, I don't want to have to sit and wear that because I think it's ridiculous. And if you don't have one, you're getting kicked out. So why go in the first place? Like, if you're going to set something, you have to expect your people not to want to go.
Yeah.
And don't get pissy about it because you've got to, accept that.
You've made the decision, and it's going to limit the people that show up.
Yeah.
But
you made your bed, lie in it.
It's just never the way it's taken, man. It just never is to me. It's always...
Because a lot of people are selfish and they don't think about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is why I have an issue with it. I think what it comes down to is I feel like the only people that ever say I want a child-free wedding are the people that are selfish. I can see the point of having a child-free wedding. I can see the desire of wanting the, like, peacefulness and not having somebody get up in the middle of the ceremony try to take their kid out because their kid's getting ready to scream. I get it. But also, it just always ends up in this dumb conflict. Every time I've ever seen it happen in real life and on the internet, I've never seen it go well. So I guess I just have the impression that it's selfish because of the situations it's been put through.
Yeah.
But I'm standing my ground on it. I still think it's selfish.
I'm definitely flexible. I think it's circumstantial, but...
I would think it's circumstantial if I had ever seen the other side of the circumstance. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those words. Anyhow, point is, not the asshole. That's what we're trying to get to, I guess. I'm gonna read the top.
Not the asshole.
Yeah, I'm gonna read this top comment, this starred comment, whatever. You've got kids age 7 and younger, and can't understand why your sister-in-law and her husband complain about kids being annoying. Could it be because your 7 small children are throwing tantrums and running around amok at family parties? It's very obvious that you're judging them for their attitude towards children. Of course, their wedding had to be child-free. You're snubbing her wedding because you're resentful that it was child-free. Your husband skipped the reception of his sister's wedding because you were unwilling to have a sitter. You realized the wedding was child-free specifically so your 7 small children wouldn't ruin the event by behaving like, well, kids, right? There's no way you and your hubby are keeping 7 small children quiet and will behave for a wedding. Alright, so like 7's a big number.
That is a lot of kids.
Yeah. 7's a big number. Uh, that is a. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing is I feel like this was a personal attack. But
I
like
think you feel personally attacked.
me,
Hmm.
again, I don't. This has nothing to do with the fact that I am a father. I have had this take since before my daughter was born, so I know that this has
No,
nothing to do with it.
I understand. I was just teasing.
I gotcha. I gotcha. I gotcha. Um, no, I agree with the person who's posting, like, who posted that and said that. Like, I do get that, like, they weren't going to keep their 7 kids under control. But my argument that we then go back to, like, then have the grandma help set with them or something,
Yeah, there are ways that you could have like,
dealt with this. You could have set
yeah.
boundaries. You could have laid down a line. You could have had a conversation. You could have used your big girl voice and
Mhm.
big boy voice instead of just putting a ban across children for your entire wedding and punishing everybody's actions for this one family of unruly children. Like, it's just, it hurts my head, man.
Yes, I agree. It's I don't. I think there's a good split. Honestly, I just
All right, so like if your kids are a nightmare and ruin everything for these people, then yeah, you're the asshole for that. You're not the asshole for not going to the wedding, though.
I definitely don't think they're the asshole because like that's your opinion, and if they set those rules, that's what they did, and that's what how ignorant of them to think that they should show up just because of that rule. Like,
Mm-hmm.
no, get out of your get your head out of your ass, honestly.
I guess also I think that other people just think weddings are more important than I do. Simultaneously, like I think of weddings as like a family event of like binding of families, like combining your family, either
Fair.
blood or non-blood. And other people think of weddings as their day. And I think of that as like the selfish way of thinking of a wedding. I think of a
Can
wedding
it
as
not
like
be both?
I think it is both. And I think that if you like take away the combining of families, then it's not a wedding anymore. It's I'm having a special day for me and my boyfriend who's not my boyfriend anymore because we're making things legal. And it's like, okay, cool. Go to the courthouse, go sign some documents, then go home and have your special fucking day by yourself. Go buy a fucking Maserati with your wedding money and go do it alone.
I think it's also kind of hard because like I didn't have the best like view like on like my view on family is also like a little fractured, but it's like
Well, I mean, like, again, I can't say this more. Like, I don't believe in blood family. Your family is who you choose for it to be. But the point of a wedding is combining your friend group, your family, and your loved ones. Your loved ones and your loved ones are now our loved ones.
right.
So to say your loved one's kids and my loved one's kids don't matter at this event because I don't want them here, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Fair, yeah.
But that's why it's a whole thing to me. Is it's like if you're a family type person, you cannot say it's about combining the families or it's about us becoming one, me and my husband, me and my significant other becoming one and us becoming a family anymore if you say you want a child-free wedding because you are disregarding the point of a family. Like everybody in the family coming together as one, including the children. Even the wildest people in the family coming together as one, that you've chosen to be there. And I want to be clear again, I'm saying like family as in who you choose, not family as in like blood, but like who you choose. And then like their kids are part of that until their kids are 18, and then those kids get to decide what the fuck they want to do with their life. But like the point is like you're just, it just to me, it's just saying that, like, I don't care about the most important thing in my significant other's family's life, and I'm supposed to be adopting that family into my life.
I would hope that if it's one person, I feel like that would be a joint decision though too. So it's not just her. I hope. I hope they both like made that decision unless she's just like absolute like a bridezilla and overruling.
I mean, okay, so it sounds like it was a joint decision. So I'm not gonna like try to like say whether it was or not. It sounds like it was a joint decision. But like, so here,
So then,
let me give you like the best example I possibly can. Okay? So
yes.
I'm marrying Sarah. Say Sarah had a brother, right? So Sarah's brother has a 1-year-old kid. I'm marrying Sarah. Sarah's brother is now becoming my brother. The whole point of the wedding is that we're celebrating as a family that our two families are becoming one family. Right? That's like the wedding, the point.
Yeah.
Traditionally speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Again, it can be your special day, but also that's the point of the wedding. My new brother, his most important thing of his life, which his wedding is about me and Sarah getting married, but it is also about her family becoming mine. And I am taking this brother as my brother. Her brother has that 1-year-old kid. It's the most important thing of his life. And the first thing I'm doing as his new brother is saying, I don't want the most important thing in your life the fuck around me.
Yes, but also not like not
Not on the most important day, the day that I become your brother. Not on the first day of being brother. Like, don't you dare bring my new nephew around me on the first day.
all right, fair.
Like, do you see how it like it?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I get everybody else's point of view on it. I do get it. I get that this is a hot take for me and I'm the asshole. I understand I'm the asshole. What I'm saying is I don't think my point of view is not justified at all.
I mean, it is, and I understand, and
I think I'm explaining more to the audience now. Than I am to you.
I'm like, you're understood. I understand.
I think this is more of like, I know I'm gonna get, like, if there's anybody on this video at all, I'm gonna get roasted in the comments about how I'm a POS for not liking child-free weddings by like 3 Karens who had child-free weddings. So this isn't about you. This is about all the people I've argued this with before. You want to hear another argument I've had on stream about 1,700 times that I still refuse to back down on? Indiana's not the Midwest.
What kind of hooligan are you? What are we considered then, huh?
Fucking mid? Like, just the mid? Like, geographically, how the hell is it Midwest? Like, what are we west of? Like, just New York? Like, are we just west of New York?
Oh! Yeah, okay.
Like, are we just
one
west
time I called Indiana the Middle Eastern? Because, like, we're more on the east side.
We are on the east side.
So, they're like, oh, that's the Midwest. And I'm like, oh, right. That's technically what it's considered.
But it makes no sense, right? Like it makes no sense that we're called the Midwest. Like, I think it was like 6 hours that I had this debate with people in my stream one day, because it's like, yes, I get that technically we are called the Midwest, but it makes no sense that we're called the Midwest. We are on the East Coast. It would take me, like, I think, like, 2 days to drive to California, and it took me 8 hours when I drove to New York.
Hey, you can drive like vertically through California and not even reach middle way in 8 hours.
Yeah, no, but
It's
yeah. But how many? Do you know how many hours it took to drive to California? Like how many hours it would take?
from here like 24 hours, 30, 24, 36 hours, something like that.
Yeah, when I drove to New York for my bachelor party, it took me 8.5 hours. But somehow we're the Midwest. We're close to Cali apparently. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all.
We're Middle East, I feel.
Yeah, no, we definitely are. Anyhow,
I thought you said West.
I thought you said yeast. I have a yeast infection. I hate myself for that sentence. You ever said something out loud and you're like, oh man, I just don't like me as a person.
I mean, I was just referencing SpongeBob, not anatomy, but hey, you do you.
I can't hear the word whenever somebody says that about SpongeBob, I always like yeast yeast infection. Anyhow, this video that shouldn't have been an hour long is an hour long. So hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. If you want to find Soulfinder, she is in my Discord, which I will put a link to down in the description.
I'm also located on Twitch, and yeah.
Those things. So we'll see you guys in the next one, where you can find out why I'm the asshole. Subscribe, comment about why I'm the asshole. Much love, guys. Bye.